Hello, welcome again to Jackrabbit Journal. It is on to the FCS playoffs now for the South Dakota State University football team. 5th year in a row that the Jackrabbits have qualified, but this is the first time they will get a bye in the first round, and this is the first time that they win the Missouri Valley Football Conference Championship. Forget about all the other stuff right now. That is the biggest deal right now.
It's a huge deal, absolutely. And this Jackrabbit football team should take a ton of pride in understanding that they did what it took to get that done, to win a conference championship. Tripped up a little bit here and there early on in the season, but regrouped and understood that, hey, this is a long season and we just keep our nose to the grindstone, fellas, and we could do something special, which is exactly what they did. A first round bye, top 8 seed, conference champ, something that's never been done in the history of this program, a tremendous accomplishment.
But now, take that even further, right?
That's right. Now, there's still plenty of work to be done, guys, because that's one goal checked off the list, along with a couple of others along the way, but the ultimate goal, the ultimate prize is still right out there in front of you.
All right, the Jacks earned that first conference championship with that 45-24 win at Northern Iowa last Saturday. They use a throwback screen to the quarterback for a touchdown. Jake Winicky throws it to Taryn Christian for a score in the first quarter. The Jackrabbit defense comes up with 2 interceptions at the goal line as Northern Iowa was trying to get in, one of them by Chris Balster, one later on by Dallas Brown. And then there was this. It was amazing. A 65-yard interception return for a touchdown by defensive tackle Kellen Solik.
Once I hit that 10-yard line, I didn't know if I could make it, but I had some blockers behind me that helped me out and made it in the end zone.
I thought he might pass it to a guy that's a little faster, but he decided to take it down. But what a neat job. What a neat way to end the game.
I've never caught a touchdown. Middle school, actually. I played wide receiver. But it sure has been a while, so that one was a lot of fun to get.
I'm proud of our program. I'm proud of everybody that's played the last umpteen years in the Division I era. Proud of those 4 classes that reclassified, and just excited for Jackrabbit Nation and especially this team.
Just wanted to get that win, bring it home for the seniors, and give ourselves the best chance at a first-round bye. Hopefully we get it. We'll see how it pans out, but right now we're just going to enjoy this win, enjoy the conference championship.
So they enjoy that win for about 5 hours on the way back home on Saturday night, back to Brookings, back up on Sunday morning to watch the playoff selection show, and they see themselves come up on the screen as the number 8 overall seed, good for a first-round bye in the 24-team playoff tournament.
It's been a goal, last season it was, win a Valley, top 8 seed. It's always been on the back of the mind, so it's awesome to finally get it.
It's been a goal of ours for a few years now to get that top 8 seed, and we're close last year but didn't quite get it, and it just feels great. It's great to have a first-round bye, kind of get some guys' bodies back, and it's awesome.
Winning the conference is probably the biggest deal, just because that's something you control your own destiny with. The top 8 seed, you're a little bit at the whim of the committee that puts it together. But just very happy for these kids, very happy with for Coach Stig, who's been toiling here a lot of years to accomplish this, and I'm very fortunate to come here at this time and be part of it.
That's going to be really nice. A couple of us are banged up. Just going to play through whatever to keep winning, but this week off is going to be incredible. It's going to feel really good. We're going to be ready to go next week. We're going to make sure we don't take too much time off so we're ready to go, so we don't come out slow, but we're going to be ready to go next Saturday.
So Saturday, December 3rd, 2 o'clock in Brookings, the Jacks will host the winner of the first-round game between Villanova and St. Francis, both out of Pennsylvania. Villanova, the runner-up in the Colonial Athletic Association. St. Francis was the champion of the Northeast Conference. Villanova probably the favorite in that ball game, but we will see. And you heard Dallas Goddard talk about staying sharp, Hank, with having the week off. But is there any concern about having that week off or not? That's got to be the best scenario, right?
Absolutely. No concern whatsoever. This is a tremendous opportunity for these guys to get themselves healthy and to get their feet back underneath them, maybe focus a little bit on some things to take care of with school, enjoy the holiday, watch some football on Saturday, and then get ready for this next season, which really, postseason, it's a whole new season and a whole new, just huge opportunity for these guys to make their mark on a national level.
All right, more coming up with Hank later on about why we were worried about anything way back at the beginning of the season when the Jacks were 1-2. But Coach Stegelmeyer runs through the big plays of the first half at Northern Iowa. That's coming up next.
Jackrabbit Journal on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, Dakota Land Honda, Service First Federal Credit Union, and JackrabbitCentral.com.
Welcome back. At this rate, Jackrabbit coach John Stiegelmeier is going to put the SDSU career coaching wins record so far out there that nobody is ever going to touch it. 43 wins just in the last 5 seasons, 8 of them this year after the win at Northern Iowa. And here is Stig with the first half of that one. We'll talk about who gets credit for this great season so far a little bit. Let's get right into the highlights here at Northern Iowa. Final game of the regular season. And you guys get the football here to start and get the running game going with Brady Mangarella.
Yeah, really the same type of play we ran the week before. We run it into the short side. We felt we had a numbers advantage. Again, our fat guys have played so well throughout the season, stayed healthy. Another example, different play, but kind of a go one way, block the other way, and huge play by Jake Winicky here. Brady gets it stripped, and Jake playing hard makes a huge play in the game.
Yeah, he's got good hands, goes down to recover, and then third play of the game here, Taryn Christian to Jake for a touchdown.
Yeah, as you watch this, I don't know how you defend that play. As long as Jake is, I mean, you have to be 6'6" to defend that as a cornerback. Great throw, great route. Again, great protection by the big guys.
All right, get up early on the road. 7-0 Jacks early in the first quarter here, but UNI comes back, and they've got a good passing game with this new quarterback in there.
You know what he does? He makes good decisions. He makes his decision. He looks you off and then goes back. Did that the whole game. And we talked at halftime about snugging up to the receivers and not honoring where he looks initially because he throws the ball somewhere else. This is just great execution, bad angle by our safety. And I thought Christian Roseboom could have got him there with maybe another inch on the line of scrimmage, but that kid's a good football player. He'll make other plays in this game that affect the game.
All right, they tied up 7-7 midway through the first quarter here, and then the next drive, Isaac Wallace has come a long way this year.
He has. He's running hard. He's learned to get upfield when there's time to get upfield and slash when you can. There's a 15-yard penalty on this. They pull the guy's helmet off in the game, and so we the benefit of that.
All right, how long have you been waiting to pull this up?
We've been practicing this all year long, and it never goes as planned because that guy's supposed to be blocked, and so is the other guy. But a great move, great patience there. If you watch that, great patience by Jake as those guys are closing in on him. He had to wait for Taryn to get open.
Yeah, Jake kind of looked off and then came back to Taryn. Well, it was supposed to go to Taryn, though, right?
Yes, yeah, that was the plan. Look off, and but it took a little longer than it was supposed to. We were not going to kick deep. We lobbed the first time. We choose to kick deep here, and consequently, again, we figure out how good that guy really is.
Yeah, this is the same guy that scored the touchdown on the screen pass early and goes back for a touchdown here to tie it up at 14. Still in the first quarter, and then after an SDSU 3 and out, they convert coming up here again, and Mike Malloy is another really good player. This is a talented team from Northern Iowa, and they get him up the sideline here.
Yeah, they run a wheel route that should be covered by more than one guy, really. And they did that a bunch in the game. We shut it down in the second half, but early in the first half, they had to go wide open and missed him, and then hit this one.
And then one of many huge plays by your team in the red zone.
Yeah, just did a great job by being heady. Chris Balster had an unbelievable game. The number of positions he plays for us, gets the interception in the end zone, prevents any points. It could have been an incomplete pass, could have been a touchdown for them. So a huge turnaround.
All right, Taryn Christian coming up here is going to hit Jake Winicky. Taryn becomes the single-season passing leader for the Jackrabbits, having a phenomenal season.
Phenomenal, and again, he's a true sophomore, so benefiting from some really good players around him, but he too is a great player. And I loved how Jake came into this game and just played an unbelievable game, how he put his shoulders down and got in there. Here you can see his talent again. How do you defend that as long as he has great hands? He and Taryn are on the same page, literally.
Is that a good throw by Taryn there, just putting it out where Jake can get it?
It is, yes, without a doubt. And he knows Jake can get it. All he's got to do is hang on.
All right, Jacks go up 21-14 here in the second quarter. Later on, Doris Fountain again, another good skill player for Northern Iowa.
Yeah, another wheel route. He ran right by the guy with the wheel route. We were thinking we got to defend run. They weren't running the football. They can't run the football against our defense, and that was already been decided. So play more pass and take care of that. Here they're the Wildcat. This kid's a good football player, good scheme. Glad he ran into that guy because there's nobody left, and we're able to get him tackled and slow him down a little bit.
And does end up being a big play here because they're not going to get in the end zone, but later coming up here. Defense will get another stop, keep him out of the end zone at least.
Yeah, but we got to contain him there. A guy that runs the ball. This is a hard deal. As I'm a defensive player's closing in him, I don't know how you decide to stop with one step left when he decides to go out of bounds. But our guys play with their heads up. They don't whine about it, and we're able to make a big play here.
And you're going to protect the quarterback, like you said there. But defense holds. Jordan Brown.
Great play
on 3rd and goal.
Great focus, play in the hands. That's legal in college football, and just a really nice play again against a really good wide receiver.
All right, they settle for a field goal to make it 21-17.
Yeah, and again, we don't settle for it. Our guys gave everything they had to try to block that thing. Coach Courier does a phenomenal job of those guys to try to get one of those. Here, we called timeout, get more time for the 2-minute drill, and we end up fumbling on 3rd down and give them an opportunity to get some points at the end of the half. But again, our defense, I watched them. They met on Coach Brown, and they were ready to go out. They were excited to go out, even though it was a tough situation.
All right, they'll get in a 3rd and goal here from the 6, and that's Dallas Brown.
Great play. Great one-handed interception. Again, he just had a 15-yard penalty earlier on the sidelines. Could have been hanging his head, but he plays in the present. He too had an unbelievable game in this football game.
All right, 21-17, Jackson the lead at halftime. Second half coming up next. Dallas Goedert ties the single-season record for receptions at South Dakota State and the slowest, most glorious 65-yard dash of the season on a pick 6 by Kellen Solik. Welcome back. Back to Brookings for the second half at Northern Iowa with Coach Stiegelmeier. Up 21-17 at halftime. How are you feeling about this?
Well, we felt good. We made some big plays, both to score points and prevent points. Our guys were excited. They knew they were playing for a lot of things in this football game, and so they had 1 half left to do their best, and I thought we played a good second half.
All right, start 3rd quarter here, and the defense stays hot. Jesse Bobbitt makes the play here.
There again, he benefits from other people putting pressure on him. He really did his job, came back inside, got a good sack. Jesse played the whole football game with a pretty serious injury, a gutty-type player. Love guys like that.
Taryn, did Dallas Goedert here? He makes 7 catches. That's a quiet game for him anymore.
Well, we didn't get him deep much,
no.
But again, based on what we thought the game plan would be, we're going to run the ball, get it to Jake, and get it to Dallas. And Connor had a big catch in the game also.
Another big run here for Isaac.
Yeah, I love the way he's now. Watch what he does on the sidelines here. Fights for extra yards and gets a bunch of extra yards. That's really important in a football game.
2 plays after this one, Taryn coming up the middle for a touchdown.
Yeah, good call by Coach Eisens. You watch this thing get blocked. The beauty of this play here is you watch how Taryn sees a crease and hits it. It's pretty tough to be blocked and get off a block and make a play. He's so athletic as a quarterback. It is like having a running back. It is wildcat for us, really.
Yeah, it is. All right, 28-17. Jackson the lead here in the 3rd quarter. And again, you and I will come back again. This is Fountain on a 32-yard catch.
Too easy here. Too easy. This is a post corner. We're in cover 3. You're assigned your 3rd of the field. Make that tougher. And we got our hips turned, our shoulders turned at cornerback, and able to make the play. Give them some credit. Here, a real physical play by those guys. They had their All-American defensive end in their block, and they knock us off the line of scrimmage a little bit to get a touchdown.
All right, tighten it up at 28-24. Jack's still in the lead here in the 3rd quarter. And then big play on a fumble on a punt here.
Huge play. Good protection because they came after the punt. Young man who had some big plays in the game, took his eyes off it, and Micaiah Slade makes a huge play in this football game.
All right, after a sack, you get into a 3rd and 21 here. And Brady Mangarelli will make the catch, and then a big personal foul on you and I.
Just guys playing hard. You can't fault this young man. He cuts back. He reaches out to try to get him. That number 30, the guy that has the penalty, I talked to him after the game. He is a phenomenal football player also. And that hurts, but sometimes you live right, you get some breaks. We got a break.
All right, turn around. 4th quarter here after that. And 3rd and 4 here. Jake down the sideline for 27. And then Kyle Paris coming in. Will score a touchdown.
Yeah, Kyle is our downhill runner. A great throw there by Taryn, but this is fun to see. We got a fat guy blocking. We got a running into a safety. You're going to get a touchdown with Kyle Parrish running the ball in that situation. A big play in the football game.
Matt Clark out there leading the block. So Jack's up 35-24 in the 4th quarter. Next drive here for UNI. You got Jared Bloom back there in pass coverage as well.
Yeah, a little bit of a extra dropper. Great play by Chris Bolster, reading the quarterback. Probably should have had an interception there, but again, prevented them from getting the ball moving.
And then you go on a 7-minute drive here.
Yeah, just a tremendous job by Taryn and Jake. That was a run-pass option. We all thought he was going to run the ball, have the ball, hand the ball off, and seize the corner, hits Jake, a big play in the football game. Yeah, sometimes you don't score, but you move the ball, you change the field, you flip the field. Those are huge yards.
This is a 4th and 5.
4th and 5, decided to go for it. Chase had missed a longer field goal, so we decided, and again, Connor benefits from the other guys being a little, get a few more catches, but wide open makes a big catch.
All right, you get a 32-yard field goal here from Chase Vinatieri.
Yeah, special points. You put us up by 2 touchdowns by 14 points. Huge in this football game.
38-24, Jackson the lead, and then the play on the sideline here is Dallas Brown will come up and knock it out, and Kellen Solik ends up with the football.
Yeah, you call it a gift, and I've been asked what was I thinking. I was thinking hand it off to Roseboom so we get in the end zone, and obviously he hasn't done this very much in his lifetime, but a big play, fun play, what a fun memory for our football team. No, don't leave the field, Kellen. Celebrate with us. I think I heard the story his dad had a bet with him. If he ever did that, he owes him a bunch of money. So let's go public with that. So,
and you could give a guy a heart attack doing this.
Yeah, you could. You could. In fact, that caught me off guard. It was kind of fun to see Justin Sell there, shake his hand, and then I love those guys. I literally love them. That is a fun sight for me.
Excited. Everybody is there. So congratulations. And the program takes 2 huge steps forward again this year with the Missouri Valley Championship and then the playoff bye.
Really proud of our team to get the conference championship. We faced some adversity and kept battling. Won some tough games on the road, this one specifically. Really proud of them, and because of that, we get the top 8 seed, one of the top 8 seeds, and that's exciting.
Well, Nick Mears with 10 tackles to lead the Jacks in this game. Dallas Brown was named the National Player of the Week. He was awesome. Jake Winicki, 16 touchdown catches on the season, now to tie his own school record. Taryn Christian sets a new school record for passing yards in one season. And Dallas Goddard has 78 catches this year. That ties the Jackrabbit school record held by Jason Schneider. It's been a fun offense to watch this year, hasn't it?
It certainly has. Well, one of the more dynamic and explosive offenses that we've seen in Brookings at South Dakota State University. Been a ton of fun to watch, and that says a lot when you think about some of the guys that we've had most recently who have gone on to continue playing and have done some great things in blue and yellow. But hats off to this offensive unit this year.
All right, up next, Hank's thoughts on the biggest area of improvement this season for the Jackrabbits and one thing that they're going to have to do to win and keep on moving in the playoffs. Welcome back. Well, 3 games into the SDSU football season, we were not the only ones, I don't think, with some big concerns about the offensive line and the defense and the young quarterback and the running game and everything else, especially when the Jacks were 1-2 after that loss to Cal Poly. But let's kind of run through these. At quarterback, Hank, you were on Team Taryn Christian right from the start. Wasn't too young to take over this team.
No, absolutely not. There's no question in my mind. He was the guy for that job based on everything he had done last year and what the coaches anyway had said, how he had progressed in the offseason.
All right, offensive line was probably everyone's number one worry at that time. Have they risen to your lofty expectations?
They absolutely have. These guys are playing the best football they have all year right now, the perfect time to be playing their best football. I'm seeing more of that attitude that we thought was lacking early on in this season and last year. Now, keep it rolling, fellas.
After that loss to Cal Poly when the Jacks fell to 1-2, we thought it was going to be a long year defensively. What has been the biggest improvement on defense for the Jacks?
Well, they have improved from front to back on the defensive unit, but I've got to point to the secondary. It was the unit, I guess the unit within the defensive unit that had the most question marks coming into this season with the youth and some of the injuries that they dealt with early on. They have consistently gotten better every single week, and they need to continue to do just that. Yeah,
linebackers and the defensive line this year has been awesome as well, and a lot of important things to get going right going forward. To me, it is the Jackrabbits cannot waste opportunities. opportunities. You got a chance to make an interception, you got to make that play. If you're going to score a touchdown instead of a field goal, you got to do that. What's the biggest thing for you?
Well, right. There's no time to second guess any opportunities or say, oh gosh, I wish I would have done that. This is a playoff, so if you miss an opportunity in the playoffs, the chances are you're going home and you're not going anywhere else from there. So recognize the tremendous opportunity that is in front of you, fellas. Embrace it and go out there, have fun, make plays, and see where it can take you.
And just one thing to hit on the lines for the Jacks this year. They finished second in the Missouri Valley in both sacks by the Jackrabbits and sacks allowed. Those were huge improvements on the defense and the offensive lines this year. And the Jacks 8-3 heading into the playoffs. So we've got much more football stuff next week as the Jacks prepare for that home playoff game on December 3rd. Up next, the wrestling getting ready to host Iowa, and Macy Miller and the Jackrabbit women's basketball team off to a hot start to the season.
Jackrabbit Journal on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, Dakota Land Honda, Service First Federal Credit Union, and JackrabbitCentral.com.
Well, there's lots going on for Jackrabbit football and basketball and wrestling teams in the next 2 weeks. The men's basketball team plays at the Pentagon in Sioux Falls this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in a 4-team round-robin tournament. UC Irvine, East Tennessee State, and Milwaukee in that one. The Jackrabbit men are 1-4 right now after an overtime loss to Idaho on Monday night. Good news is the Jacks scored some points in that game. A.J. Hess with 31. He made 7 threes, so the Jackrabbit men in action. Meanwhile, the Jackrabbit women play at Oklahoma on Wednesday night. The Jacks are 4-0 going into that game after wins at home against Creighton and Southern Illinois Edwardsville, and then wins on the road against Montana and Iowa. All 5 SDSU starters are averaging double figures in scoring right now, led by Macy Miller at 17 points per game. And we will have the women, the men, and the Jackrabbit wrestling team in action on Midco Sports Network as part of a huge weekend starting next Friday. We have live wrestling against Iowa on Friday night at 7:30, and then live men's basketball Saturday morning at 11 o'clock with the Jacks hosting Kansas City. We'll take a break for the playoff football game at 2 o'clock. That'll be on ESPN3. And then live women's basketball at 6 o'clock with the Jacks hosting Arkansas Pine Bluff here on Midco Sports Network. Hank and I are back next week on Jackrabbit Journal to get ready for the Jackrabbit playoff football game. You're a little excited.
No, I couldn't be more excited, Tom. This is what it's all about, college football. Everybody who's watching here today and follows this football team, you got to be fired up and expect to see everybody in Danny J. Dykehouse in 2 weeks.
Happy Thanksgiving from us and everybody at Midco Sports Network. We'll see you next week.